Can you just go out and find games that are under $10 nowadays? What's going on, everybody? I'm Screech, this is Retro Card Collector, and I was tagged by RNG Gamer with a challenge to try to find 5 games that are under $10. So I looked through my collection. I found a couple games that are under $10 that I have. I also went out and tried to find some in the wild. So the first game we're gonna look at, I pulled right out of my collection, and this is like a $6 game on price charting. Now it's gonna be Kings of the Beach. This is a volleyball game on the Nintendo. Now the Nintendo version was brought to us by Ultra, so Konami under that Ultra branding. And we got this one in 1990. Now Electronic Arts originally released Kings of the Beach for the Commodore 64 and on MS-DOS back in '88. And then we got it for the Nintendo. Kings of the Beach is a beach volleyball game. Now this isn't Super Spike V-Ball, but it's still really, really good. Now Kings of the Beach is a volleyball game. It's a beach volleyball style game. We're gonna have 3 different play modes and we can play on 5 different beaches. The play modes are gonna be practice, match play, and tournament. And those beaches we're gonna get to play on are San Diego, Chicago, Waikiki, Rio de Janeiro, and one in Australia. Now the fact that I can pick this up for $6, it's a really fun game. It's a fun beach volleyball style of game. Honestly, both of those ones, this Super Spike V-Ball, they're really, really fun games. I suggest picking up either of those, but if you're on a budget, I would go with this one. And a fun thing about Kings of the Beach is Electronic Arts actually brought in Rodney from the Skate or Die series as an opponent. They also brought in Hard Hat Mac, which is from a platforming game that Electronic Arts released on the Apple II. But if you're looking for a fun sports game that's gonna land under $10, something you can actually have a lot of fun with, not like some of those other sports titles on the Nintendo, I would go with Kings of the Beach. We're here at Fan Expo in Calgary. We're gonna check out the vendor floor and see if we can find anything of interest. Kind of looking for some video games right now, trying to find games under $10 that are really any good. So we'll see if we can find anything. So they've got Super Off-Road for $12. Let's see. Let's check. He's busy. He's very busy. Are you're the guy?
I'm the guy.
You're the man?
I'm the man.
Super Off-Road, you have listed for $12.
Yes.
You do 10?
For you, yes.
For me, you
Yeah.
do 10. Well, I
got
guess
it.
you can get Super Off-Road for, yeah, $10. That lands in the charts there. So a lot of us just call these ones Super Off-Road. Now, the Nintendo version by Trade West is called Iron Man Stewart's Super Off-Road. Now, I feel like a lot of us have a lot of fond memories of Super Off-Road. Either the arcade version, the Nintendo version. It also came out on a bunch of other platforms. I mean, we got this on the Nintendo, we got it on the Master System, it came out on the Genesis and the SNES. We also got it on the Amiga, and it came out for MS-DOS on the computer. I remember seeing it in arcades, I remember friends having it on the Nintendo. I remember birthday parties playing this one, racing with your friends. It's super fun that you can play 4 players on this one on the Nintendo. Get that 4 score, get it set up, and you can have a blast with this 4 players. Now on the NES version, there's 8 different tracks, and you can race up to 99 times going through those tracks, cycling through those tracks. Cool thing about Super Off-Road is it's one of the first games where you could actually upgrade your vehicle with the money you earned while racing. Now we can take the money we earned while racing to get things like nitrous boosts, tires, shock upgrades, and things like that that'll make it so we can run those vehicles a little bit faster, which you're going to want to do because this game is going to get progressively harder. Now this game kind of lands all over the place depending on what system you're going to pick this one up on. I mean, price charting shows the Amiga version at like $19. You could pick it up on the Game Boy for about $10. Like you saw, I was able to pick it up for the NES for $10. The Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo versions, they run anywhere between $15 and $18. And if you want to get real crazy, you could find this one on the Game Gear. That one's sitting about $20 right now on price charting. But a super fun trip down memory lane for the Nintendo here for about $10. So we're here in Midland, Texas. We're gonna check out RetroFunk here, see if I can find any games under $10. Starting off, that's a good one right there. So for games under $10, I would go with Daffy Duck and the Marvin Missions. This one's gonna mark as $10. This is a really cool game, super fun. Let's check it out. Daffy Duck and the Marvin Missions. Now this is based off those Looney Tunes cartoons, Duck Dodgers, and the 24th and a half century. Now this one's gonna be run and gun style of game. You're gonna add a jetpack, you can fly around. You'll have a shield that you can use to block attacks. You're gonna wanna block those attacks, and then you're gonna wanna shoot those guys right after. There's 5 different guns you can pick up, things like a freeze gun, stuff like that. There's also 20 levels we get to play through on this one. This is a bit of a hidden gem. This one can be a lot of fun. Now, sometimes it does take a lot of shots to kill the enemies, even more shots to kill those boss enemies, and the controls can be a little bit slippery. That's definitely going to be something you're going to want to pay attention to while playing this. Kind of learn how to play it and get used to it. As we play through, we're going to be collecting money, which we can use to pay for ammunition on those guns. This one can be a lot of fun. Yeah, there's a few little hiccups to it, little kinks you got to figure out, but once you get used to this one, this is a lot of fun. Now, price charting has Daffy Duck and the Marvin Mission set at about that $10 range loose, which is what they were asking for in that store. But let's see what we can find if I just go scouting around a local store. So we're here in Airdrie, Alberta. We're gonna jump in here. We're gonna check out where on earth did you get that antique mall. See if we can find any games in there. So we're looking for a $10 game around $10 or under. We've got some Nintendo games here. These are a little higher than that price point. Some Genesis games here. And then we've got this awesome bowl here that's got a whole bunch of games. And these are all Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color stuff in here. There's Paperboy for $10. What else do we have in here? Oh, here we go. Dave Mirra BMX on the Game Boy Color. This is an awesome game. This is super fun. Let's take a look at it. Dave Mirra's Freestyle BMX on the Game Boy Color. Now this one is a fun BMX game. It's got a really neat look to it. I really enjoy the look of this game. This one you can have a lot of fun with, especially for a handheld. There are other versions of this. I know it came out on the PlayStation, and it was a lot of fun there. I cut my teeth on BMX games on the PlayStation version of this. In the Game Boy version, we're gonna want to complete the goals, we're gonna want to collect the items, and we're gonna want to build points. Now this is a really good looking game for a handheld BMX game. This one can be a lot of fun. The controls take a little bit of getting used to. You end up doing a lot of grinding, a lot of trying to get those tricks figured out. Now it's on the Game Boy, so it really only has those 2 buttons, which definitely you need to figure out as you're playing. We're gonna unlock trick combos as we play through the levels on this one. It does have a password system, which is fairly nice to be able to have. Now there are a ton of Dave Mirra BMX video games out there. Freestyle alone came out on the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance, the PlayStation, and the Sega Dreamcast. We also got Dave Mirra BMX Freestyle 2, Freestyle 3, BMX Challenge, and BMX Maximum Remix. So there's a lot of options out there. So I was able to find a $10 game out in the wild at an antique store. Now, Price Starting has this one for a little bit less than $10. It's like a $5 game, $6 game, but we're gonna pick it up just this is a really fun game. Now, I grew up on a farm, so I was huge into BMX back in the day. I didn't have a skateboard out there because, I mean, good luck riding a skateboard in a hayfield, right? So Dave Mirra's Freestyle BMX on the Game Boy Color. This is an awesome game, definitely worth picking out. Let's jump back to the studio, take a look at another one that's under $10. All right, the last one, I went with an N64 game here. This is another one I just pulled out of my collection, and I feel like this is one that a lot of people might own already. We went with Star Wars Episode 1 Racer on the N64. Now this one price charting has for like $7, so we're under that $10 mark for one that I think has a lot of nostalgia for a lot of people that had that N64 as a kid. Now, I was a senior in high school when Episode 1 came out. Grade 12 year, getting ready to graduate, and they announced that Star Wars was coming back. Now, I was a fan of the original 3 growing up. I watched those with my parents, really enjoyed the Star Wars movies. So when Episode 1 was announced, we got really excited, and we booked tickets to a matinee. Now, a matinee that was opening day and fell in the middle of a school day. So me and Ron Boy actually skipped school to go and watch Episode 1. And I don't know if I regret that decision or not, because it really wasn't that good of a movie compared to the other ones. I remember sitting in there and being like, what is this? This is the direction we're going? Okay. But then when I was just out of high school, I ended up getting an N64, and this was one of the games I picked up. Now, to me, I enjoy how quick this one is. I enjoy the locations on it. I think this is a lot of fun. It is very similar to all those other futuristic racing style games that we had at the time, but it is a fun and interesting game. This is one that you can have a lot of fun with. It is fairly easy. The other opponents you're racing with, they're not like super aggressive. They're either gonna go whipping past you or they're just gonna stay behind you because you're a lot faster than them. So even the tournament modes do kind of feel time trial-y to me. Now, it did have a sequel that came out on the PS2, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer Revenge. That's one I've never played, but now that I know it's there, I'm kind of interested in tracking that one down too. And I mean, it's got to be pretty good. It's got a fan base. This one has an HD re-release on the Nintendo Switch, the PS4, and the Xbox One. Now the N64 version is compatible with the expansion pack, which will upgrade those graphics. There is a little bit of slowdown when there's a bunch of racers on the screen, but other than that, this is a really fast, really fun game that you can pick up, especially if you have memories of it. And the fact that you can find it for like $7, definitely worth picking it up. So that's 5 games for $10 and under, we'll say. I really enjoyed doing that. Thanks RNG Gamer for tagging me in this. So it's my turn to tag someone else. So I'm going to tag Aggie Thunderpaw, and he's not, this is going to be a surprise to him. But I'm also going to tag Russ Lyman. Russ Lyman, I definitely checked with Russ, made sure he was cool with me tagging him. I'm really excited to see what they come up with for games under $10. But this challenge has been going on for a couple months now, so look back, watch the other videos, check out RNG Gamer if you haven't. Definitely subscribe to his channel. He was tagged by Samantha Azira. Definitely check out her channel as well. She was tagged by Retro Rivals. Check them out too. And the list just keeps going on. Look back. Just keep going back. Hunt these videos down. I did that. I had a lot of fun watching every single one of them. There's a lot of games for under $10. There's a lot of really good games for under $10. If you go back through this challenge, look at those other videos, you're going to see things from newer versions, older retro stuff like I like to look at, but there's a lot of games out there. Definitely check them out.